Okay, today is December 18, 22. Please forgive me, because earlier I was saying my client goes to Central Baptist. He doesn't. He goes to Trinity Temple Gospel on West Tusk in uh, Canton. Okay. I have been through a lot. I put up with the harassment 24/7. It's a lot. Okay. Today, I get him in there and I go park the car. Somebody's already walking around mumbling stuff off in the distance about my ex getting away with attempted murder. None of this is funny, okay? I go to get the vehicle. Lady walks out. Do you realize who was here? It was Karen's Will, the FBI informant. She said about the time when that lady, where the short blonde hair lady that was dating that older heavyset guy, the one that he went out with her instead of me, told him it should be May or June of 19 in Louisville Dollar General. Now, my whole life has been bugged for 4 years, under surveillance um, for 4 years, trying to figure out who's all doing this to me. Okay? My phone's tapped by the police and they hear it's on if I call you or not. Okay? I carry the bug with me. Car's bugged, my apartment's bugged. FBI informant. Okay? She said, I found that tape of that lady telling that guy they already knew all those kids made everything up. They did, May or 19. May, June or 19. Well, they caught him stating in the protected custody case, Thanksgiving of 18, they were making everything up to Flora, and that they were nothing but games of pretend. And I told you they lied on my other son about the shower scene, that he was helping lie on me, and he knew nothing about it. It was just where they kicked in my door, photoshopped a shower scene, and were date rape drugging me. You do realize they could have killed me at any moment. They were date rape drugging me. They were breaking in my apartment. They were stalking me. They were watching me. The photoshopping of shower scene in the other room is sick and twisted. Some guy came up to me, January 19, and said they photoshopped where I used personal scented wipes in the bathroom. They said you stood up and used one of those in the bathroom and they photoshopped that in another room. I thought, what are you talking about? Well, I didn't know they were stalking me before. And they've admitted to a shower scene in the other room and then photoshopping other things. Okay? I don't know, nor do I care. She's mentally ill, and her family. Dave's girlfriend. It's the agent from out of the area. Dave hit me with a board in the face, ran off to the store. According to the one neighbor, he showed up at the store, told everybody he didn't want me anymore, and asked all these people to help kill me, and that's why they're involved. That's it. We are Michelle's mother, Memorial Day weekend 2019 at the food counter in Walmart 62. Now, the Canton police work there. And they keep all their tapes and audio, and they found the tape of that. They called her an idiot woman bragging. For it's my daughter, her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spasm. For my daughter, they did all this for, and our family watching her doing this. Michelle's mother. It's an agent out of his area. Instead of him body slamming Dave or calling the police, okay, and telling him to go get him, got his plates. He offered to help. Why? Why on earth would he do that? Because he's got his little scam that he's putting people into witness protection programs and then stealing the money. He's setting himself up for retirement, him and his family to be millionaires. That's why. It's not out of the witness protection program. Paid out $958 billion over its time. It paid out hundreds of millions last year. It's not monitored. by making sure so-and-so got their money, so-and-so's here, and so-and-so's there, and here's their expenses, and it's not accountable. They just put those agents to pay it out. They're not making sure they're accountable for that money, which is stupid, which leaves it wide open for embezzlement. Okay? Wide open. They're not accountable. Yeah. And it is just Michelle's family doing this. Do you know August 11th, 22, the apartment building foreman, third of the fence, was out there yelling at one of those idiots, I want nothing to do with this. It's just that family doing it on their own. Michelle's family. March 13, 22, 1:30, they're out there, some old guy screaming at him for framing me. They meant to frame me. They meant to rape me. He's screaming at him until my next door neighbor, Amy, said, she's like, Karen, I thought my husband was loud. I could hear that clear in my apartment. The apartment building second offense that read it out Dave the year before on August 9th, 21, and then told the police that he even drugged me and told me to say something stupid under roofies. Came out and called that guy a bastard. My one client on Shepler Church Road, they told her everything was drugged and photoshopped. She went to the police. Edith Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue, December 9, 21, 4 p.m. Everything was drugged and photoshopped. He went to the Canton Place, and the same thing at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street on December 9, 21, 1 p.m. A white man bald with dark eyes. There's only 4 or 5 volunteers. Canton found him. They talked to him. They verified it. And then Eric, admitting everything was him, November 1822, between 2 and 6 p.m., Walmart 62 by the hair salon, screaming and laughing how all the tapes before were him and not me. Ha, 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 ha. He came up with the idea to say it. He came up with the idea to do it. It was all him and not me, and not her. It was all me, blah, 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 blah. And for all these people turned on her, and they actually did it, and they fell for it. Ha, 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 ha. Mockingham, November 24th, 22, Mercy Medical, the nurse in the emergency room said, we all heard that Eric make fun of us for falling for this. Then the lady she's talking to said, well, the agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. And she admits that they ran experiments on me and that no one's ever said anything really bad. Because they found those kids lying. That lady, she was an older blonde lady that even admitted they knew that they were lying. Mayor June of 19, I was in Dollar General. She had came up to me when I first moved out. She's a real thin lady, real tall, late 50s, early 60s, blondish, white hair, and came up and said, he went out with me instead of you because you used a towel on the floor with soap and water instead of the Swiffer wipe. And he found it disgusting, so he went out with me instead. Well, I only had 5. I was so poor when I moved out. I only had $5 or $10 to eat on a week. There was times I was starving. Absolute starving. And so that they'd stop bullying me, I took some of my little bit of money to eat and went out and bought those Swiffer wipes for the floor. Okay? Well, she showed up by Mayor June of 19 in Louisville. And again, and she's in there with that heavyset white guy that said he went out with her instead of me. Now, I've never even met him. That's how weird this is. These people are like 60s, and they're trying to set themselves up to have the best retirement and their kids to be taken care of in them old island. That's what they're doing. Okay? And said, you tell that Steve to leave her alone. We all know that they all those kids made up everything before, and tell him to cut it out, that none of this is funny. We already know all those kids made everything up. They do. As the Maslin police, they're documenting Mean Games of Pretend. As my granddaughter Flora said, of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. It was games of pretend. And laughing. Because they had to make up all kinds of sick shit in the basement, laughing in a legally bugged house on Thanksgiving of 18. And since these people hacked into the police protected home custody case and sold it, it's common knowledge. Dear God, that Trinity Temple, Gospel Temple, that lady walked out when I went to get my car. Do you realize who's here? It's Karen's will. Okay, they either call me Karen's will or Karen around the house. Okay, it's Karen's will. The FBI informant was here today. They said the guy that she's with doesn't know what's going on and you're not to say anything. Do you realize who all else was was here today too? She said about when that lady said that they knew all the kids were lying. I found the tape of it. They really did. It is just them stealing from this. Duh. December 2nd, 22. Wendy's Alliance. I have my day program. I'm in there. One of the guys that watched me come in, and he's at the pop station with another man. He said, is that one that church tried to have killed? He said, yes. He said, yes. He said, I heard she didn't get a dime out of this. See, I'm supposed to get $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year, free housing, free living expenses, a medical card, and they are to diplomatic immunity. It goes along with witness protection program, okay? So they can't try to pull a fast one, the ones that are trying to kill you. Gee, they sort of kind of belong to the church that did it. So he said, is that the church, the one that church tried to have killed? He said, yes. He said, I heard she didn't get a dime out of this. He said, no, she didn't. She's always out working to make ends meet. He said, it's that one guy from the case stealing every dime from the case. And that's the only thing going on. And everybody knew it, and that's why no one will talk to her. They all knew, the agent that called me back, that bullied me into saying I was lying when I wasn't. The one that Stark County Sheriff already verified that it was him that told on me the night before. Why would he do all that? Think about that. Why? You got to think. This is where it comes down to, why would they do it? Dave's already trying to kill me because he wanted Katie. Katie owns a dairy farm. Thinking even though she's heavier, fat, and ugly, he could be well off the rest of his life. Just get rid of me. That way you don't have to pay alimony. Okay? All those attempts. Okay? He's so mad I'm not dead. He hits me with a board in the face and runs off to the store. He's so furious, he walks into a store. Now, we haven't lived up there 6 days. Okay? Actually, 3 days. Complete strangers, doesn't even know anybody in that area, walks in and asks strangers to help kill me. They offer to help. According to the neighbor that showed up and said something February 25th at McDonald's on Whipple and Hills and Daryl's corner. He should live like 3 or 4 houses down. Drives a silver car. Came down and ratted him out. Where Michelle's mother, Memorial Day weekend 2019, for it's my daughter, her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spasm from my daughter. They did all this for, and our family watching her doing this. Screaming in Walmart 62, Memorial Day weekend 2019. Canton Police work, the security, screaming it right by the door till you could hear her to the register. And it's Michelle's mother. How it's just them doing it. It's just them. So he goes in there and they all offered, why would they offer to help kill? There was a $25,000 hit on my life, okay? They could have took it, break in, stab me with amnesia drug, knock me out, dress me, go take me to the field and stab me to death. Let them find me. Say, oh my goodness, Mr. Hall, someone killed your wife. We found her, da-da-da. But you know what? They didn't do that. Why? Because they were playing me. They're playing with me because they're mentally ill. They're mentally ill and they were playing with me. They were stalking me. Then they photoshopped shower scenes and wiping yourself with a Diety wipe after you get done. Go in the bathroom, a feminine hygiene wipe, and then throwing it and you're in the bathroom by yourself and they photoshop that in another room being assholes. I've heard all about their fucked up tapes before. Their mental illness stuff. Michelle, the girlfriend's a bitchy family thinking they're funny. And then I'm waking up with hand marks, cuts on my legs. They even cut me, the sick bastards. I woke up, my leg was bleeding on the bed. I asked Dave, oh, I got you with a toenail. That wasn't a toenail. It was white as a cigarette. I had hand marks as big as mine embedded in my arms. They said they were beating me under drugs. Black and blue marks at times as big as grapefruits and oranges. And I thought, well, if he's beating me, why am I not waking up? And then coming in getting drinks and laying down, even if it's just a coffee or a soda, and just take a drink out of it, get dizzy, and lay down thinking I'm working too hard. It's not funny date rape drugging somebody. They don't know what's happening to them. And it's 100% amnesia and you're sleepwalking. It's not funny. And they're mentally ill doing that to me. Mentally ill. And why are they doing this? They're letting me finish up that house where we had just bought it. It needed a wood burner. Josh put the tile in it, have me help clean all that stuff up. Him put have us put the new septic tank in and let me rake everything out for 2 weeks. Then put the flower beds in. Have Josh hang the lights on the outside of the house. Not lights, but I didn't have cameras in my house. Not one inside my house. I had only to the side yard, front porch, and back porch only. And I stay up while Josh did it. I even organized Dave's tools in his garage. I spent months, and we had to get a new treatment center. The water was toxic up there. And when I got everything done, they had it all set up. And you know what? Then have the guy that Dave tried to have kidnapped and carjacked, have him show up and scare me. And then I wasn't supposed to hear how Vega was involved, and I overheard it on the phone. Dave bragging how I'm going to die for his girlfriend. Katie leaving the threats in the mall, and then that guy showing up again. So I knew that Dave knew I was in contact to scare me to death. And then, And then the what a shame guy being a freak and the other girl spitting on my face. So I'm freaked out of my mind. And then see, the key thing is my girlfriend's rich and powerful. Our family owns the police. She won't be able to stand. So I wouldn't trust the police. Because if the police would have found out an FBI agent's breaking in, stalking the wife, while his daughter's dating the husband, he goes to jail. Like even my one friend that worked at the prosecutor's office, and Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, it is illegal for even the FBI to be in your home outside to protect a life case with the statements. They can't even look or listen. And even the Massillon police said it would be illegal, and the Portage County sheriffs. See, that's where they wanted to direct me to the FBI so I wouldn't trust the police. That's why they saying that she owned the place. So I go higher. He's waiting for me to call that hotline. He's waiting for me to call that hotline. Then I did. And then they drugged me up. I can't get out of bed. Then he goes up and he tells on me. So, yeah, that they're helping them. And I hadn't called him back. And then to call me a liar. And he knew I'd been drugged up for days. Because it was them doing it. Bully me into a false statement, laughing at me. And then tell me if I tell someone they'll list me crazy and no one can help me. So I'd be too scared to tell anybody. Which is badgering law, Department of Justice 1729. Because it was him doing it. Because why? Because he stole over $300,000 from this case. And more likely, he is so organized, he's stolen before. And he's probably got other people's witness protection program money going into his pocket, their apartment, and their medical card selling them. And then what they did is they sold the police protected life case where only the police should, agents and investigators, making sure I'm okay. And they're supposed to be protective, not just documenting these people hurting me. They're supposed to come running. Okay? That's why they're there. They're not just paid perverts. They sold it for regular people to watch at $25 a pop and made millions. They are setting their family up to be billionaires. You know, I hear something funny? Some lady that used to be in a duplex down the way, her duplex is now up for rent. She's gone. That's as bad as March 13, 22, when they admitted to framing me outside, and that old guy at 130 was out there screaming it. Okay? I'll tell you what, a few days later, the 2-apartment buildings for me outside stepped. The people that live there, they used to yell stuff and come out and yell stuff. They moved out. They packed up a great big moving van and moved out. They yelled out, "We're sorry." We found out they made everything up, and it was all them, and we're sorry for helping, and they got the hell out of here. They are not the only ones, because they didn't want to go to jail, and everybody gets afraid that someone will actually do their job and arrest them. One sheriff I talked to, he said, the local police could arrest that agent, and they could arrest that judge that's involved in this. Them and their dirty friends. It don't matter. Once they commit a crime, they lost every bit of title they had. The one officer I had dinner with, he said, you have to take their statement, if you believe it or not, and you have to follow through. And if you don't follow through, they can yell badgering. And if they yell badgering, you lose your badge, and then you go to jail. You can go to jail. That's where you ever notice on those detective shows, we had 5,000 misleads in this big case. Huh? Because they had to go check them all out. Because they can't call those people liars. And it's obstruction to justice and tampering with evidence otherwise. And that's where November 24th, 22, Mercy Medical. The nurse leaving my room, we all heard that Eric make fun of us for falling for this. No one will ever say a word to her again. And the lady responded, well, that agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. I even found out those men ran experiments on her, and she better not have permanent damage. They need to realize how not funny this is. I found out that no one's ever said anything bad about her. Really bad about her. My whole family spoke highly of me. They even said it in front of my other client last year. They said it in Walmart. They said they all knew I was innocent. October 2020 in FedEx. In other ones, June 23rd to July 4th of 21, we interviewed her whole family before. She's never hurt anybody. What are you talking about? Because it's Michelle's family run around lying on me, and they're lying that they can get away with this, that they're so mentally ill that they can kick in somebody's door, stalk them, they break in, date rape, drug them, lie they have sodium pentothal reports, brag they photoshopped all these shower seats and blah, 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 blah in the other room because she's mentally ill. And you want to talk about a fatal attraction, family? And laugh that they did all this and then say, well, we put charges on you. You never talked to anybody. You've never had Miranda rights. But we went ahead and put it in the court system without you. That's not legal. And that's not true. They can do that. They can't do anything to you or against you like that. For one thing, that screams you're a stalking victim that had been kidnapped and almost murdered. And they go to jail. That's what they would get charged with. They victimized me. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life, and they have to speak to everyone before they start, or it's abuse and misconduct, and it goes into the right of privacy, legal search and seizure. Officer Reinhardt giggled like a little girl and even said that until that agent took my statement and agreed to protect me, even the FBI couldn't be in my home. It'd be illegal for that anybody to look or listen. They couldn't even. It's special protective light cases only. Portage County Sheriff said it. Massillon Police. It's on the Department of Justice. And then badgering laws. Department of Justice 1729 that he goes to jail for bullying me. S641 embezzlement. If you even withhold money meant for one person, what happens? It's considered embezzlement. Anything under $100 could be up to 1 year federal prison. Anything over $1,000, 5 years to 30. And from $5,000 to $500,000 fines. They don't play with people embezzling funds that are meant for victims. They can't deter it to another person. Same thing. They can't, what else? They can't withhold it, or it's that. It's the law states. The law also states that the only way that you can be in like a witness protection program is if you agree in a government case, the case a government's willing to look into, for your testimony of you being a witness or a victim, that they will put you in protected custody, so they can't try to pull a fast one like this. They can't legally touch you, get diplomatic immunity. They also give you 24-hour police protected custody. They also give you $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year to live on, free housing and free living expenses, and a free medical card, because you're a victim or a witness of a violent crime that they were wanting to look into. And for your testimony against those criminals, they make sure that no one can ever touch you again. And that's the only rule. They can't bend it to their own evil plan of no one can help you if you tell someone. They can't. There's no way out. You can't ask for help. He was bullying me into stay quiet while he stole from the federal government. This whole thing was planned out with him and Dave, that they, and that weird Eric that he came up with a tape before, and the photoshopping and the date rape drugging, and with that agent and his daughter. And they already had the embezzlement thing going on. You can guarantee that he's too organized. This is not a first-time whim, and they're setting themselves up to be billionaires and own islands. And these people that are doing it to me are 60 plus, and they're dirty kids on their own. That's why I was never questioned with Miranda rights. I was never prosecuted. I was never found guilty, because it's the fucked up girlfriend's family doing it of my ex-husband. Yeah, I don't get in trouble for her being a stalker and a drugger, and her dad being somebody the FBI actually hunts, and it's one of their own. And like I said, they do not monitor that money. And that's why he thought he could get away with this. And they have talked about this clear out to Pennsylvania. They've screamed it on Massillon streets. They've talked about it in Alliance. They've talked about it in North Canton. And they yelled it out in Canton. They have yelled it out in Massillon. It is just that agent from this that called me back. Him stealing from the case. And that's the only thing going on. That's the only thing going on. They try to blame my son Danny and Jen that they were in it with Dave for the shower scene. I went and talked to them on November 13th. And why on earth would somebody say you have any charges? They would be lying, as if. And I said, well, I call them the Pinocchio group and the Wah 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 group, the Liar Liar Pants on Fire call. She said their pants would burst into flames because they would be lying if they ever said you did anything wrong. And my son's like, well, you got your CCW, da-da-da. And I told them how I work home health care and da-da-da-da. They're like, you can't even have an accusation. I said, I know. I just passed another FBI background check. They're like, why on earth would anybody fall for it? See, they had no clue. They're a hurricane of lies. They lie on them that they're helping Dave to lie on me, and then tell everybody else they're lying on me. And they know nothing, so I don't talk to them. And then find out they're lying on them, that they know nothing. It's just a hurricane of lies from the crazy ex-husband's, ex-girlfriend's family. Because they're embezzling funds from the federal government. You do realize that they did not have to stalk me. They did not have to date rape drug me. Dave was already trying to kill me. They could have let me finish up the house. They could have let him bring that guy back up, scare me to death, make the comment of the girlfriend's family owns the police, so I called the FBI, and then snag the money. Nobody ever had to touch me. Nobody ever had to stalk me. Photoshopping me is asinine. Date rape drugging me is attempted murder and kidnapping. And then selling police information, and then setting me up to be an informant and promise me all that stuff, and then stealing it for his own is embezzlement of the federal government. And yeah. And people need to realize that is the only thing going on. That's the only reason why they even messed with Dave. They wouldn't even give him the day one. If he walked in there and asked him to help kill, they could have just took me out, date rape, drugged me, killed me out in a field and left my body. But no, they played with me because they're mentally ill. Kicking in my door, photoshopping me, stalking me, breaking in, date rape, drugging me, telling me to say crazy stuff because it's the fun of it, because they're mentally ill. They're mentally ill people. And then the whole plan of it is, is to get her in that informant program. Let her get done with all the work on that house that needs done, and it took me a couple months. Let her get it done, and then we'll scare her into calling the FBI, and we'll make sure he picks up that case, and then he'll bully her, and then we'll get that thing, and then we can steal all that money again. And then they came up with the idea to sell the login to the police protective case and sell it to everybody around so that they can make money off of terrorism and terrorizing me and keep upping the ante of hurting me so that they can sell it so people will watch it like a reality show. They're mentally, my ex-husband's girlfriend's Michelle, her family, that's who's doing this. Dixie knew about Michelle. John's kids called her Auntie Shell. That's where the mean psycho games of pretend, because Thanksgiving of 18 in a legally bugged house, the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shaw, and Papa and Grandma needs to get out, and then later on to Flora, we're making everything up. That's why Flo laughed about it a year later. That's why the Maslin police are documenting me in games of pretend. Uh-huh. Even the sheriffs knew they lied. Everybody does. And it came from that Michelle. She's mentally ill. She's a pea sweater girl, the young blonde girl, Faith Family Church. My dad's FBI. He works the case. I date Dave, and they called her Michelle. She was a pea sweater girl. She was watching me go to the bathroom up in Ravenna. Who watches somebody pee? That's sick. Uh-huh. Where the sleeve fell down, I pushed it up. I took the sleeve off, took the sweater off, washed my arm, put new sweater, told everybody that I had a pea sweater on. She was lying to them. And then she said that she had me raped and she could have anybody raped because she thinks she's some kind of mafia goddess. Yeah, see, this was their whole plan. Otherwise, they just killed me. They were playing with me because they're mentally ill, let me get everything done, then they attack, push me, get me so scared so I'll call the FBI so he can grab it from out of his area so he can bully me. And then terrorize me, and then keep terrorizing me and selling videos of them terrorizing me to people because he's that mentally ill while he's stealing from the federal government and then making money off of terrorism. That agent that called me back, I cannot be his first victim. They need to get down here. They need to fix it. And I've seen some of my guys that from the case. Uh-huh. Yeah, and I don't want to ever hear about the shower scene. Over 10 people have told on him for the shower scene. Even my client that lived on Shepler Church Road, the White House before hers, they told her in March that all the tapes before were drugged and photoshopped. Her, at the Oakland apartment, the guy at the task force, they all told, they admitted it when they're describing stuff. It's like a serial killing movie. You got to figure out what they're doing to make it out. It's like, well, what you're describing is showering, right? My apartment's bugged from the case. I walk outside, she figured out what they did. They're laughing in the dark. That's where May 12th, 22, Bubba's Restaurant. They're screaming at him driving by. We told those boys, now this is funny, we found a tape of them admitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22, KFC in Belden. The shower scene in the other room was done on purpose. Just like February 2nd, 22, at Burlington Coat Factories, they admitted to drugging me and telling me to say stuff. People ran in Save-A-Lot. My one client lives on 6th Street, the brown house across the street from my client's apartment building. The African-American man ran out and screamed it to the postman. Postman's like, we all heard him admit to drugging her and tell her to say stuff. January 1922, Department of Disability, they told them I was drugged and told to say it before January 11th. Or January 12th, 22, Walgreens North Main. Sheriff John is one of my security. He met goons at the door of the Walgreens North Main while getting a COVID virus shot. 4:58 p.m. while those kids get caught stating they made everything up. He would scream it out in Walmart. It's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good and love. Okay? He also, yeah. Oh God, what else? I can tell you, even the main cop that went to Dave, the heavyset white man, told the North Canton Jackson police June of 19, the worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over improperly because someone made fun of the back of my knees. He also was at CSE Bank in front of Lamar Sharp, Amar, Michael Broswell, or the other Michael that worked at CSE Bank Security in 19 and 20. Those officers were in the back, and they did refer to them as officer of my security team for the protected custody case for being an informant. Walmart, Canton Police, and their security is Canton Police. Um, on Walmart 62, a lot of them help watch me. Yeah. And it's for we all know this woman's innocent. For we all know. October 2023 investigators. I was found innocent of everything in 18. This is just Michelle's family embezzling from the federal government. It's the only reason why they even bothered with Dave. It's the only reason.